Black women face dangers that most people never see, and the women at the top deal with even bigger risks. Fame, power, and constant public attention attract threats that force them to move with serious protection. Today, we're stepping into the world of the most heavily guarded Black women in America and the extreme measures their teams take to shield them from everything that comes their way. Coming up at number 10, we have Haitian Zero Nicki Minaj. The Black Barbie lives in a world where fame, fan obsession, and real danger mix together in a way most people can't imagine. She's one of the richest and most recognizable rappers alive, so her life attracts attention from people who adore her and people who fixate on her a little too much. With a net worth of $130 million, Nicki learned early that being a powerful Black woman in the spotlight comes with risks that never really go away. For years, she's dealt with obsessed fans, aggressive paparazzi, and people who cross the line from admiration into outright harassment. She's had strangers show up at places they shouldn't be, and people online who threaten her safety whenever drama swirls around her name. It reached a point where she couldn't move like a regular celebrity. She needed a team that could match her level of fame and keep her safe without slowing her down. Nicki travels with a security team that works non-stop. They move ahead of her to check buildings, venues, hotel floors, and even exits that most fans never think about. Her bodyguards aren't there for show. They're trained to spot danger from a distance, and they rarely take their eyes off her. There was a time when an online stalker posted her address, which set off a huge security scramble. Her team strengthened digital monitoring, increased patrols near her home, and locked down her travel routes. Nicki's team now uses armored vehicles when she moves through crowded cities. They coordinate with local authorities for major appearances, and they run quiet counter-surveillance when she travels for tours or shoots. Everything around her is calculated because one slip could put her in real danger. Nicki Minaj might look comfortable in front of cameras, but behind those bright spotlights is a team working day and night to keep her safe. The next woman on this list is the political powerhouse #9 Stacey Abrams. Stacey isn't an actress or a singer, but she carries the kind of influence that shakes entire states. Stacey first became a household name during her run for governor in Georgia, and later became one of the most important voices in American voting rights. Her career in politics came with a wave of admiration from millions of Black women who saw her as a champion, but she also drew something much darker from people who didn't like her calls for fairness, justice, and voter protection. The more she fought for voting rights, the louder the noise from her enemies became. By the time the 2020 election rolled around, she was getting so many threats that her team started taking them seriously enough to bring law enforcement into the picture. Some of the messages sent to her were alarming. They weren't simply social media comments. These were direct threats that mentioned her movements and the work she was doing. During one of her major voter registration pushes, her security team had to escort her after someone sent in a message claiming they knew her schedule and planned to meet her there. That was the moment her circle realized things had gotten far more dangerous than anyone expected. After that, Stacey strengthened her protection immediately. Her home was fitted with upgraded surveillance and constant remote monitoring. The security system tracks movement inside and outside the property, and her team installed bright perimeter lighting that activates whenever anyone steps too close. These guards have backgrounds in threat management and high-risk protective work, which means they know how to identify danger before it becomes a problem. When she attends rallies or large public gatherings, her team expands to include plainclothes security placed around the area. They quietly watch for anyone acting strange or trying to get too close. Stacey Abrams looks calm and composed in every interview, but behind that confidence is a dedicated team working around the clock to keep her safe. On number 8, we have the loud, bold, and unfiltered superstar, Cardi B. Cardi isn't just famous. She lives in a world where her every move becomes a headline. Her personality is big, her success is huge, and her reach is global, which means she deals with a level of attention most people can't handle for a single day. Cardi has millions of fans who adore her, but she also attracts people who cross the line from curiosity into obsession. She's had trolls threaten her online, people leak locations to stir up trouble, and a few individuals show up where they shouldn't be. Her security isn't just a couple of big guys who walk beside her. It's a system that covers every part of her life. She travels with bodyguards trained in crowd control and rapid threat assessment. These are people who don't blink when chaos starts. They study the way fans move, the way paparazzi circle, and even the way strangers approach her. If something feels wrong, they step in fast. Cardi also faced a real scare when a stalker began sending messages that mentioned her daughter. That incident pushed her to tighten her home protection. Her house was upgraded with high-end monitoring, motion sensors around the property, and an alarm setup that runs nonstop. Her team also controls who enters her neighborhood whenever she's home, and they monitor traffic near her gate to be sure no one lingers too long. When she attends events, the entire process becomes a full operation. Her team arrives early to scan entrances and exits. They inspect stairwells, backstage areas, and the path she'll use to walk in or out. They coordinate with event security and local officers, especially when she's in packed venues where fans rush forward without thinking about how dangerous that can be. Her cars are reinforced for safety, and she often travels in a multi-vehicle formation that limits the chance of anyone pulling up beside her. Even simple moments like going out with her husband or taking photos with fans are carefully managed. Her security spreads out, watches the crowd, and keeps a tight circle so no one gets too close. They're trained to predict danger before she ever sees it. At number 7 is a woman who doesn't need an introduction anywhere on this planet. #7 Oprah Winfrey. Oprah is a media legend and practically a global institution. From her talk show years to her own network, she's built an empire that turned her into one of the wealthiest black women alive. With a net worth of $3.2 billion, she's been famous longer than some of her fans have even been alive. And fame at that level doesn't come without danger. In fact, it paints a target on your back the size of a billboard. Oprah has seen the best and worst sides of being a public figure. She's adored, respected, and considered a mentor by millions, but she's also had people cross lines she never expected. In the 90 seconds, she dealt with stalkers who tried to approach her home and even showed up at events hoping to get close to her. One even got charged with stalking her editor, Gayle King, just to get to her. Some were persistent enough that law enforcement had to step in. Her security had to grow as her influence grew. Her Montecito home has some of the highest-level residential security you can imagine. We're talking cameras everywhere, round-the-clock monitoring, reinforced gates, and a perimeter team that doesn't miss a thing. Her personal bodyguards are no joke either. These aren't random hires. They're professionals trained in threat detection, emergency medical response, defensive driving, and psychological evaluation. They travel with her everywhere, from premieres to charity events to casual vacations. They run advanced checks at every location she visits. They scan entrances, hallways, dressing rooms, vehicles, and even backstage areas long before she arrives. And if she's attending a major event, her team coordinates with local police to set up extra layers of protection. With a career as legendary as hers and a public presence that never fades, Oprah Winfrey is guarded like the treasure she is. Her team makes sure they stay alert, they stay close, and they make sure nothing and no one gets near her unless she wants them to. Coming up at number 6 is the woman who somehow manages to be elegant, quiet, mysterious, and beloved all at once. #6 Zendaya. Zendaya is one of the few celebrities almost everybody loves. People adore her. Brands chase her. Directors give her the best roles. And with her shows, movies, and fashion deals combined, she's sitting on a net worth of $30 million, and it keeps growing every year. Zendaya might look unbothered in public, but she's had some very real scares. Back in 2019, one incident shook her entire world when she discovered she was being stalked. This wasn't someone who sent harmless fan mail. This was a man who tracked her movements and even found her Los Angeles home. Imagine the fear of realizing someone you've never met is watching your every step. It wasn't her first run-in with obsessive behavior either. Over the years, she's received frightening messages from unstable fans who threatened to find her, meet her, or worse if she didn't respond. Some even turned their anger into full-blown death threats. Then there are the paparazzi. Zendaya has dealt with aggressive photographers who push boundaries just to get a blurry shot of her entering a restaurant. In 2020, she was surrounded so tightly by a swarm of cameras that her team had to push through the chaos to get her out safely. Moments like that taught her that being low drama doesn't protect you. Only real security does. Her team now runs like a full security machine. She has personal bodyguards who stay close at every event, every set, every public outing. And when Zendaya attends premieres, award shows, or even a simple Fashion Week appearance, her team arrives hours earlier to sweep the venue. Her home is protected by advanced systems too. Motion sensors, outdoor cameras, and controlled access that prevents anyone from getting anywhere near her front door. Her travel routes are planned carefully, and she uses secure vehicles and professional drivers who know how to handle unpredictable situations. And because she often travels with her boyfriend or co-stars, her team expands to cover both of them when needed. At number 5, we have the legendary #5 Angela Davis. Over the years, Angela Davis has become a symbol of an entire generation that refused to stay quiet. She spent her life fighting for justice, but the moment she became deeply involved in the civil rights movement, she hit a nerve in the most dangerous way. Her work with the Black Panther Party, her push for prison reform, and her fearless voice against state violence made her one of the most watched women in America. By the early 1970 seconds, she went from a respected academic to a full FBI target almost overnight. After being falsely accused of the murder of a judge, Angela began receiving a stream of anonymous calls, threatening letters, and warnings from extremists who openly said they wanted her gone. At one point, she had to go into hiding because it became clear that some groups were preparing to take violent action to stop her. Once she was acquitted, she didn't take any chances. Her security had to be rebuilt from the ground up. Allies in the Black Panther Party stepped in immediately. They raised money, rented safe houses, hired trained protection men, and created a system that followed her everywhere she needed to be. These guards weren't amateurs. They handled surveillance, escort duty, and rapid response, and they worked in shifts, so she was never left exposed. Government agencies stepped in too, especially at events where tensions were high. Her home was completely renovated with reinforced doors, upgraded locks, perimeter checks, and alarm systems that were advanced for their time. She had personal assistants who were trained in first aid and emergency protocols in case anything went wrong. Angela has outlived the fear tactics and intimidation. She's older now, respected across the world, and still outspoken when she wants to be. But one thing hasn't changed. She keeps trusted allies and professional security close. After surviving one of the most dangerous eras for a Black activist, she moves with people who know her history and understand the risks that still come with her name. At number 4 is the Caribbean queen herself. #4 Rihanna. She's beautiful, she's powerful, she's one of the richest women in entertainment, and she moves like a woman who knows the whole world is watching her. From her music career to her billion-dollar Fenty empire, she's reached a level of fame where people feel entitled to her life. And with that kind of spotlight comes some very real danger that pushed her to upgrade her security more than once. Rihanna has dealt with some frightening situations over the years. One of the worst was when a man broke into her home in Los Angeles. The police later revealed he had been tracking her movements online. That incident shook her team and forced them to rethink every part of her safety. Another scare happened when another obsessed fan climbed the fence of her property and tried to get close to her bedroom window. Security caught him before he reached the house, but the message was clear. Fame might bring glamour, but it also brings unpredictable people who don't care about boundaries. Rihanna has also faced threats online from people who claimed they knew her schedule and planned to meet her at events. Her team had to involve law enforcement several times because those threats became personal. Rihanna didn't take any of this lightly. Her home is now protected with top-tier surveillance, including cameras that cover every inch of her property and sensors that detect movement long before anyone gets close. Her gates were redesigned and reinforced, and her security system is connected to a private monitoring service that responds within seconds. Her personal protection team is one of the most trained groups in the celebrity world. They travel with her everywhere. Concerts, fashion weeks, product launches, vacations with her kids, even simple dinner outings. These guards study crowds, monitor fan behavior, and stay alert in every room she enters. When Rihanna goes to public events, her team arrives early to search the venue. Her convoy is another level. She moves in secure vehicles driven by people, trained to handle emergencies, especially in places where paparazzi get out of control. With her fame, beauty, and fortune, she travels with protection that understands exactly what it takes to guard a woman the whole world wants a piece of. Coming up at number 3 is the woman the world calls Queen Bee. #3 Beyonce. Beyonce is one of the most recognizable faces on the planet, and with that level of fame comes a whole lot of danger. Beyoncé has lived in the spotlight since she was a teenager. She's loved almost everywhere she goes, but that attention hasn't always been safe. Some people cross lines, and she's dealt with more scary incidents than most fans ever hear about. One of the most shocking moments happened at a party years ago. A fan, clearly out of control, actually bit her on the face. It became a Hollywood mystery for months because no one could understand how someone could get that close to her in the first place. The incident sent her team into panic mode, and her security instantly tightened up after that. She's also dealt with stalkers who've sent disturbing messages for years. She's had countless people try to break into her home. Another threatened her family online. Cases like these pushed her to build one of the strongest personal protection systems in entertainment. Her team moves like a small army. She travels with elite security professionals who have military and intelligence backgrounds. They handle everything from crowd control to transport routes, and they coordinate with local authorities before she steps into any venue. When she's on tour, her security sweeps arenas hours before she arrives. They map exits, check restricted areas, and monitor anyone who looks out of place. Her homes are fortified with advanced surveillance, guarded gates, and staff who work around the clock. Even when she's out with her family, her detail stays close, watching the crowd and managing physical space around her. There's a reason Beyoncé moves so calmly at award shows, concerts, and red carpets. Her team works nonstop to make sure nothing gets near her, especially after the biting incident and the stalker cases that forced her to rethink every part of her protection. With her fame, wealth, and influence, she's become one of the most heavily protected Black women in America, and every move she makes reflects that. Coming up at number 2 is the first Black and South Asian Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. The moment she stepped into national politics, her security needs changed forever. And once she became vice president, everything around her life tightened in ways most people never see. She's one of the most watched and most discussed women in America, and the level of threats that come with that position is staggering. Long before she reached the White House, Kamala dealt with waves of harassment. During her time as California's Attorney General, she faced angry extremists, racist messages, and direct threats tied to major criminal cases she handled. People tried to approach her at rallies, sent alarming letters to her offices, and even targeted her online with violent messages. That's when the Secret Service stepped in to take full control of her protection. Once she became vice president, her security expanded into something massive. The Secret Service assigned her one of the largest protective details ever given to a woman in American politics. Her team handles everything from transportation to personal shielding. They plan her entire day down to the second. Any building she enters gets inspected from top to bottom long before she arrives. Surveillance teams monitor the area, snipers take positions on nearby rooftops, and all routes in and out are checked repeatedly. She travels in armored vehicles driven by trained specialists, and her team stays in constant communication with local authorities across every city she visits. Even simple events, like speaking at a university or attending a community meeting, involve layers of screening. Everyone in the room gets checked. Every object near her is scanned. Every movement around her is monitored. Her home is treated like a high-security facility. Access points are heavily restricted, and guards stay on duty 24/7. Even when she's off the clock, her detail follows her everywhere she goes. Grocery runs, workouts, family moments, it doesn't matter. Her team never leaves her side. Because of her position, her identity, and the world she operates in, she's become one of the most heavily protected Black women in America. Her security isn't just a team, it's a full system built to keep her alive in a world where one mistake can change everything. Finally, in our list, the first ever Black First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama. The moment she stepped into the White House as First Lady, her entire life changed. Michelle became a political figure as well as a global symbol, and that made her a major target. Her security had to grow fast, and it never went back to normal. During Barack Obama's campaign, threats came in at a shocking rate. Many of them were aimed at Michelle. Some people tried to get close to her at rallies. Others sent hostile messages and made direct threats online. The Secret Service expanded her protective detail long before her husband won the election because they saw the danger rising. Once she became First Lady, her team became one of the largest ever assigned to a president's spouse. Her public appearances were planned with military precision. Any building she entered was checked hours before she arrived, and security scanned everyone in the crowd. Her routes were changed often to avoid patterns. Snipers were placed on rooftops. Surveillance teams tracked every face and every movement near her. Even school visits, book signings, or charity events came with intense security measures. Traveling with Michelle was no small thing. Whether she was boarding Air Force One, stepping out in a foreign country, or appearing at a local event, her detail formed a tight circle around her. Armored vehicles, advanced communication systems, medical staff, and specialists in close protection followed her everywhere. No casual walk was ever truly casual. Life after the White House didn't dial anything down. Michelle's fame exploded. She became an author, a speaker, a documentary figure, and one of the most influential voices in the world. With that visibility came new risks. Even now, she moves with a security system that rivals world leaders. Former presidents and first ladies receive lifelong Secret Service protection, and Michelle's detail still operates around the clock. They screen venues before she arrives. They control access points at her public appearances. We've just stepped inside the lives of some of the most heavily protected Black women in America. Do you think these women are doing too much in terms of security? And who would you like us to feature in our next video? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe.